My friend who I love, I have this thing of, and I don't want to pinpoint myself and, blame myself. So maybe I need to word it better than what I was getting ready to say. I love her and we have great, chemistry, great memories. And we were not in each other's life for a while, and I guess life went on. She was married and all that. And we happened to, I would always, whenever I think of her, send a text to touch base. And in, 3 months or less or more, she would text me back. And one time I called her and she replied. She was like, she was thinking of me, and she had a lot to say, a lot of venting, which didn't make me feel bad. It made me feel like, all right, I can be there for her. And it also made me feel like, okay, I can have her and keep her in my life because I have something to offer her that is unique, that she needs. I don't think that's a healthy way of acquiring a connection. So I had to guard myself stepping into that kind of new-found relationship, dynamic at least. And she's married to a narcissist, and it's toxic, and she's doing a green card thing, and she's doing this and the other. And so there's a lot of that. The story is the same every time. Sometimes I wonder to myself, how many people is she talking to about this? How many people is she venting to about the story that I feel like she forgot that she already told me this, and then she would talk to me again. She'll sound thinking to myself, you say that you're not available and everybody gets the same treatment of you not being able to get hold of them. And, basically, so that I don't feel like I'm the only one who's being treated this way. You basically just, what's the word? Not dismissive, you're ignoring everybody. And, it's not just me. So I guess that makes me feel better. I was used to just not hearing from her and her not responding. But when we reconnected, like I said, and I even, within 24 hours, went and stayed with her at her place, and I paid her, and it was so great. And I was like, actually just saying all of this now makes me want to pick up the phone call back. But after that, she would continue. In fact, after that, she would continue to pick up my calls and to text me back. I was like, wow, is she back? It felt so nice. And let me tell you, it was at the perfect time. I just was going through so much. I had started going to therapy, and I was experiencing things with my. It's not from them. They might consistently being themselves. I was just, things were being uncovered. Truths, I don't want to get into that, but it was a rough time on my part, and I was like, okay. So, there was a hole there, and I had to be very careful that that was not the time that I was going to latch onto another toxic thing. I didn't want to replace another toxic thing with another. Even when I was on vacation, this girl she called me a couple of times. We happened to be on vacation at the same time, which was exciting. And she would call me and be like, how are things? How's your mom? Whatever. It feels like, when someone is doing the bare minimum, that's how it was coming across to me. She was doing the bare minimum of knowing that there's that one thing about me in my life. So she's always going to touch base on that. Even if I've told her about so many other things that have happened since then, that are new, that are fresh, that I would rather talk about, she would ask about that one old thing. And then when I respond and I also touch on the things that I want to talk about, she'll still respond about, something similar to, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, I hate that. That's the thing with you. And even though I didn't just talk. So I'm like, oh, she's probably reading her text and multitasking. Just continue to feel like another typical relationship that I would find myself in, where my needs are not being met. I've come to a resolution that I have very high maintenance needs that can, for some reason, don't seem to be able to be met. And luckily for me, I'm okay with that. So when people don't meet those needs, they take on the challenge, but turn around and not meet those needs, they get cut out. I don't care who the fuck you are. But if I kind of care about you or cared about you or whatever, I'm going to give you a chance. But you will be cut off. I don't care. Like, nobody is immune to the knife. So when she called me and vented about the same story in a voice message to me around Christmas time when I was with my family, it felt self-indulgent. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you're on vacation, I'm on vacation. Why is this the most important thing that you want to talk about? Delete the voice message before you hit send type deal. How self-unaware are you? You're spending time with your family, vent to them. You are with your coworker and friend who's from America, vent to her. You have all these other friends. You have somebody that you're available to. Vent to them. Don't vent to me. I'm feeling used. So then I came back. Wow, I didn't spend a lot of money this time on meat at all. Looking at these ribs that were $12.07. Those are old prices of that kind of stuff. Then, like, okay. Now, what happened? I'd be like, I don't know. And then continue to talk to her because sometimes something is better than nothing. But for me, once I reach that point of this is not going to be the one. And also, I never forget the things that you did to me. Because, it's part of when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. I never forget that you are that person who responds 6 months later and you tell me, when you're in town, let me know, we'll meet up. I'm thinking, how are we going to meet up? You don't respond. I'm going to text you when I'm in town or when I'm 3 hours away driving to town and you respond 9 months later. Like, that's not realistic kind of deal. But whatever. So, cooking cauliflower. I got it for free and it's been a while since I had cauliflower. So that'd be the kind of deal. And I'm like, this person, I don't know. Then, sorry man, I'm having to cut a shit ton of this off because I was making a lot of noise cooking while I was doing this recording. Bear with me. Hopefully it won't be much longer now. I talked to her recently. She wanted advice. Yeah, God, here we go. And another thing that I had to be very careful about was how having her back in my life had me referencing my ex and going back to the life that I lived with my ex that I would rather leave buried. So I was finding myself talking about that a lot and just like, it's not a major, it's not a major, what is all this? These are trees? Wow, awesome. It's not a major trigger point necessarily for me, but it's just gross for somebody to want that of you, right? It's not thoughtful for somebody to want you to keep digging back. Oh, you went through this, so now I want. that type of thing where they say misery loves company, but it's like trauma bonding. But I don't want to bond based on this trauma. I want to bond as a human being, period. And I was in that life where I lived it and you knew that I was living it, but I don't remember you checking on me constantly to find out how I'm doing and whatever. We would talk about it when we came across each other and we would vent, and that's how you know about my story. But now you're using it as a resource. Like, I'm not an encyclopedia. You know what I mean? I feel like, oh, there. I'm like, okay, so now I have to keep going back to the archives of a story. That's not my life anymore. I want to talk about my life the way it is now. And I never do when we talk. I talk about my life the way... Oh, did I know that I have this? I talk mainly about my life the way it was. And I've so moved on from that. Like, this was when I was married for 1 year. I've since been divorced, stayed friends with this person that I was married to, broke up the friendship, and so sorry, man. Oh, wait, did I know about this? This was awesome. Pretty sure I've used this. I don't know if I'm apologizing to you or me. I saw this somewhere. I wonder. Okay. Put this somewhere close. So I'm like, okay, fine. And, I'm interested in this place where I would rather... Oh, I know where they are. Looking for a container, and I just... Yeah, I'm like, okay, so I broke up with him. I cut him off my life. I became a truck driver for 3 years with this person not in my life. I tried dating. I was in a 1-year relationship. You could ask her anything about that life when I was in that 1-year relationship. She wouldn't know what happened there. And I've mentioned him. I'd rather talk about that relationship. That's my most recent relationship. And that relationship was about 4 years ago. You know what I mean? So we never talk about my life the way it is. Or like when I told her that I'm going to Hawaii last week for my birthday, she was like excited, like, oh, I've been, and she's been everywhere, which is nice. But we don't spend time dealing on that. She's just always so high-strung, so stressed out about something going on in her life. And that's okay. Like, it's not okay, but it's fine. Like, it's her life. And I can appreciate that. But what about me? What about my life? What about the things that are going on in my life? When we talked about Hawaii, she was like, oh, are you telling me this container's not here either? And she was like, oh, how long are you going there? I was like, I think 3 days, like, 4 days, 3 nights, whatever. And she said, oh, that's short. And I'm thinking, like, calm down. I'm still going. I'm still excited. And it's something new and different versus you talking the same story for the last 15 years. That's negative. But that's whatever. These are the things. I don't say they're triggers. They're not real triggers. I don't think that's the word. But they are things that are... I don't need that, like, all of that in my life right now. I'm just in such... I've designed my life to be positive, happy, healthy. At this point, I'm starting to be concerned, like, where are my containers? What the fuck? Because I can't find them. I even went next door to look for them. So if they're not there and I really thought they were there, and they're not here and I really thought they were here, what the fuck are they? Okay, it's time to dab over a bunch of ridiculous pot noises. I could cut this out, but it's easier this way because I still have to post on Patreon. Yeah, I'm like, okay, where could I be? That's so crazy. And I'm starting to be obsessed. One thing. Fuck. Yeah. So that's the thing. I feel like how long this video is how long I've been looking for these containers, and that's concerning because long. What the fuck? Where could they be? I'm gonna look for them one more time next door. They're not there. Probably here. You know. So I think the last conversation I already had her on the rope was getting thinner and thinner and thinner. But the last conversation where she kind of minimized, she had a weird reaction about me going to Hawaii only for a few days. And also her twice in one phone call, when she's the one who called me, was like, oh, I gotta go, when it was my turn to speak, and then again was, I gotta go, I'm so sorry. Okay, how sorry are you? After she got all the energy that she needed out of me, all the building up, all the where could these fucking containers be? Honestly speaking, you got all the building up, you got all that you could get out of me. It didn't take anything away from me necessarily, because I think I can pace myself when it comes to that. But, you're welcome. And so between the fact that I got cut off when I was trying to speak, and you, number one, number two, you spoke so much and took so much out of me, and we were trying to get information, and I could tell that you don't understand why I don't want to give you exactly the answers and tell you exactly how I did it. It's none of your business, and I don't talk about it. And I've told people so many times that, and her, that it's not something that I talk about. I don't refer back to my immigration situation. I will not tell anybody. I don't do it. It's just my thing that I don't talk to people about, because I did it by myself. And, for you to be unself-aware and keep asking, it's like, whoa, there's a boundary there, right? So that's another number. And another number being, you minimized my thing. And another number being, you said you would call. I knew you wouldn't, but you just kept saying, happy birthday, but don't worry, I'll definitely call you before you go to Hawaii, and you didn't call. Wow. Pretty sure. Why am I not recording over this? Because I feel like the emotion that is in the raw, unedited version is better. Unfortunately for me, I have to do a lot of editing. Bear with me. I wish my brain would just allow me to cut my losses and edit this and not post this at all, but I can only be me, so here goes nothing. Less than 10 minutes to go. I'm well aware, more than you are, that you're doing the bare minimum. Thus, when you said you would call me back before I left, which subsequently meant before my birthday, I knew that it was not gonna. I gave you the answer, the solution to your immigration thing that you wanted, and you submitted your paperwork and you blah blah blah. And I'm not saying give me anything in return, but in your mind you promised yourself that that's what you're gonna do, and you didn't do it. I knew you're not gonna do it, so when you didn't do it, I didn't even realize that you didn't do it, because I wasn't sitting by the telephone. But when she then texted me yesterday, 7 days after my birthday, and apologized profusely, which is one thing she's very good at, apologizing profusely and not holding herself accountable for anything. but just making sure she will give you a solid apology. It's not even my love language. I don't speak in apology. Where could I have put this? Now I'm just obsessed with finding this container. I don't think I can stop until I find them. They're not there, they're not here, they won't be here. Not there, not there, not there, not there, not there. Checked. I think they used to be here, but I removed them from here, possibly in the next room. They wouldn't be in this closet, but they could be in this one. The fact that there's no light in this closet doesn't help, by the way. So they're not. They could be in this closet. I really think that they're in the second kitchen. At this point, this was recording 2 years ago. I really wish I knew which containers I was looking for, because my gosh. Definitely. That's not a definite. Out there though. Could they be in this corner? Don't know. Gonna have to let this go. It's not really in my DNA to let things go. They just find them. Yep. It did come here more than once. It would have been so fucked up. So yeah, you cut me off, you minimized my trip, and had me start doubting myself, like, wow, I'm going. And like, it wasn't her who, wasn't her fault, right? It wasn't her fault that I felt how I did with her reaction. It's not her job, but it kind of is. Like, your job's to make me feel better as my friend. You didn't make me feel good in that moment when there was actually something to be celebrated. So you did the opposite and took away the energy. That left me feeling real funny. And I was like, whoa. And actually I was like, wow. Now I feel kind of like a loser. And I had to work on trying to make myself feel better after that. That's not how you're supposed to feel after dealing with a friend, right? Especially a friend you're building up. So it was that. It was cutting me off. It was promising that you call me before I went to Hawaii and not calling, and using me for a green card and taking me all the way back to things I don't want to think about. I don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about my ex all the time. That's so in the past for me. So I was like, okay, this is a good time. Especially when she didn't call. I thought this is going to be a good time that may make sense to her. When, even though my mind was made up, but it might be the reason that actually makes sense to say. For her to think, oh, must be because I promised and I broke a promise. I don't care about the apology. So she sent me a message yesterday telling me, I promise you, I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart. I actually did send you a voice message on your actual birthday. It's a pity I cannot prove it. Like I'm supposed to give a fuck. That's for my birthday. You promised to call me before I went to Hawaii. And you're so self-unaware that doesn't even come up. Why is that not coming up? Why is that not coming up? That's also important. What if that was more important to me than calling me on my birthday? Yeah. Trick question. Plot twist. So, all the things that... So I didn't respond. I just was like, oh gosh, I'm supposed to say, oh, you're fine. Like, I'm so over. Just... That's what I'm getting in this friendship. You get a friendship and you get usefulness. And I get constant apologies. What the fuck? That's what you're giving me? I deserve more than that. I give and give and give, and all you do is take. That is lopsided, my friend. And I want no parts. So, yeah, I was like, you know what? This is a very good time to exit stage left. And not only that, also because I just had a birthday. And besides the fact that you didn't call, it's also a good time to say, it's good for new beginnings, birthdays. So we'll also go that route. And yeah, I didn't text her back, and I wouldn't have opened the messages because I read them already, but I wouldn't have opened because I really need to. I wanted her to think that they're not open, but at the same time, I was like, who cares? Right? And at the same time, I hated that thing is sitting there showing that there's new messages. That always bugs me. And lastly, today she called me several times. I'm starting to feel like, why is she calling? Was she buttering me up yesterday so she can call about whatever she's calling today? Because she didn't leave a voice message. She left a text saying, I called and I will call you later. What about? Because it's like an ambush now. Because if I pick her up and it turns out it's actually not even her wanting, because I have these high expectations of people's functionality. What if I think that maybe she really wants to wish me a birthday and find out? And she was even like, how Hawaii? Like, I'm going to sit here like an idiot and type with my sore fingers and hands, telling her how Hawaii was. Like, she doesn't care. It's to give a little bit so she can take more. No, thank you.